Welcome to another Stompy 51 miniature adventure. Today is going to be a humble unboxing from the Astropolis 2 Kickstarter, which I think got its funding in 2019. By way of some speedy background, this was a Kickstarter by Lead Adventure Miniatures and my favourite sculptor, one of my favourite sculptors of all time, Igor Karpov. I've got some of his dwarves, and now I've got these. So on its endless journey through the heavens, the good ship Astropolis has been going through the skies. It used to be all humans, but now it's just a massive bunch of different random species. And it sounds a lot, frankly, with all its hardships and environment and Terrans and Galacticians and all that, it sounds a lot like a mashup between the comedy that was Babylon 5 and a grim, dark universe in a galaxy near you. See what I mean? Gotta love the pistol and the hat. But you know what's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. You can never have too much of a good thing, though I wish they'd done a few more of these. Oh, I love those old Imperial Guard. But anyway, let's dive straight in. So let's get right to the unboxing, or rather the debagging. Now, helping us through this little journey are these two old Necromunda figures from the 90s, which I fished out, and you can see they are still properly dusty, and that's what my painting looked like in about 1998. So first up, we've got the Astropolis Cyborg Heavy Support, which is a man's best friend, the pig. I suppose his closest living relative, at least for some. Small pig. Entirely in keeping. And what's his job? I suppose just to carry heavy things. I mean, you'd have thought in the future that kind of thing would be done by robots, but then again, not in the Astropolis universe, where people presumably are like teeming rabbits and machines cost cash. Oh, how corporations never change. These are space merchants. Looking very Mordheim-y, if I may say. There's the merchant and his wife. And slightly steampunky, if I may say. But gorgeous. And oozing character. She obviously just sells weapons. I mean, that's just a bandolero of bullets over there. A route through the stars. The spice must flow. These are obviously navigators. Their faces cannot be seen, their minds tuned into folding space. Keep the engines running, so you can never have too many engineers on a giant spaceship, even if they are wearing toilet bins on their heads. And they're very chunky, good sized miniatures. And what comments that they go too well together with, for example, the 28mm, 38mm kind of Mark Coppleston North Star types. But then again, you know, people are of different sizes and all that jazz. The Data Keeper and his library bots. So there is the Data Keeper. In the future, instead of having large algorithmic databases storing loads of information, you just have people with gizmos plugged into their heads. But you know what? What's wrong with that? I think the job of these little librarians is to go and get some real books, which presumably, I mean, these books fall apart. Real books fall apart after about 30, 40 years, don't they? Reminds me of when I was in some big German university and they had this humongous cavernous basement, literally as big as a warehouse. And you would request your little book and then someone would have to go there and collect them all. I think students did it. It's a part-time job. In the future, you don't need students, you just need these guys. These Kroglog hunters. Very Star Wars. You start hearing the theme tune for The Mandalorian every time you see these. Da, 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 da. Very Tatooine. And these are some Kroglog engineers. These Kroglogs kind of being what you might imagine would happen if a Wookiee decided to mate with a whatever ET was, a phone, a home, whatever he was. They measure up alright against a human. They're not Wookiees. Probably the easiest to paint, using washes. And they do match up well with these Lucidian Star Striders, being, I think, the first recent foray by Games Workshop into the kind of the Rogue Trader 40k universe outside of the big battles. I mean, look, she's standing on a rock, and she's quite leggy, but nothing wrong with that. There's a doctor, also a bit taller, so maybe they're a bit shorter. And there's a scientist of some kind. But you know, people are of different heights, and I think it's all plausible. And over here, I never painted this, but I managed to procure it about 20 years ago, and that's Mad Donna from the original Necromunda range. And she, with all of her leopard skin printing, is perhaps slightly taller than these Astropolis miniatures, but again, she's wearing heels. And this, I'm not sure what it is, but it very much fits into the genre. And I picked it up in a Wayland Games sale, some kind of base, but I think I'll use it for some kind of marker, or just a piece of terrain. It looks like the mine from, well, I guess like a Borg Queen. And we'll end it with the Neo Witch Hunter, Boss Hunter. No, what's he called? The Boss Hunter. Astrosec Marshal. And he is quite a tall fellow, albeit it is largely the hat. Well, thank you very much for watching to the end. Make a Kroglog happy, and like, comment, and subscribe. Let me see if I can hit 300 subscribers, just to give me a sense of personal fulfillment as a human being. Oh, the sadness. Anyway, keep well, keep safe, and I hope to see you back here soon.